The latest CSGO update added normal maps to 3 of the skins. Let's see what difference it has made to them. Here's the M4A1S Basilisk before and after. This is probably the best example of how it can give the appearance of depth. Here's the Deagle Naga before and after. As well as appearing 3D, it also results in more contrast, making the older version appear drab in comparison. And here's the FAMAS Jin before and after. Notice how 3D they now look, but while they look 3D, the effect is entirely two-dimensional. This is the texture file for the FAMAS Jin, and this is its normal map. Notice how only parts of the texture are affected, since it's not all suited to the 3D effect. Despite that, if I made a skin I'd probably get carried away and make it all into a mountain range. And just like our eyes can see this as 3D, so can the computer, interpreting the red, green and blue values in the normal map as 3D coordinates, and lighting those that are facing towards light sources. Somewhat confusingly, I recently did a video on Dupuziu's 3D looking skins, so I feel I have to say that his 3D effect is mostly achieved via, I guess you could call it forced perspective. Normal maps look 3D in a different way, and will only work on smaller details, but will nicely interact with the lighting wherever you're stood in any level. When you see these before and afters, it might look as though some of the details have jumped or shifted across the weapon model. They haven't. It's simply because one side of the details is lit more brightly than the other, which gives the illusion that they've moved. Normal maps sound like some amazing new technology that will revolutionise graphics and video games forever. But don't get too excited because it's already done that, back when it was first introduced in 2004 in games such as Half-Life 2. It was brilliant for the computers at the time. They weren't powerful enough to handle complex 3D models, but normal maps did a good job of giving the illusion of there being more detail than there actually was, and without requiring too much power to run it. Today, we probably do have the computational power to draw hugely detailed weapons, but there's a reason we don't, and not just because normal maps are good enough already. Before deciding on customizable weapon skins, the devs considered differently shaped weapon parts, but decided that keeping the shape of the weapons was important so that they could be quickly identified in gameplay. So in a way, normal maps are the next best thing if an artist wants to give the illusion that their weapon is a different shape. Either that or Dupuziu's clever projected texture trickery. There are still limitations to normal maps. Pack72 provided this lovely normal map example over on Wikipedia. This shows the same 4 shapes twice. On the left is the proper 3D version. On the right are the flat, normal mapped ones. And it does a good job of demonstrating the strengths and weaknesses of a normal map. The main difference is that it's 2D, though hopefully you've picked up on that fact already. Without a normal map there wouldn't be anything visible on the right at all, so obviously it's better than nothing. You can see that while a normal map does a good job of representing the direction and brightness of the lighting, it doesn't cast shadows like the cone on the left does, and the dark sides of the normal maps aren't lit up by surrounding scenery. Note how the dark side of the sphere on the left hand side is lit up by the side of the 4-sided pyramid thing, which isn't something that normal maps can support. In fact, I think it's only possible because this example is ray traced, so even if the weapons in CSGO were modelled in full 3D, I don't think they'd look as convincing as the 3D shapes on the left here. The additional normal map layer can bring about some Easter eggs too. On the M4A1S Basilisk, I spotted this logo on the opposite side of the gun to the Basilisk's head. This is a detail that exists only on the normal map, meaning that it has never been seen by any player with the skin until now. Coloured lighting is the best way to see normal maps in my opinion. And did you know that all 3 of these skins were made by Gaunt? He has a 4th skin too, the Glock Wraiths. It's already in the game and already features a normal map. I'm a little confused as to why this one was updated and the others weren't, considering they all came out years before normal map support for CSGO. But then, does there need to be a reason? Valve moves in mysterious ways. Out of curiosity, I looked through the other skins with the same style of finish to see if they had normal maps too. Weapons such as the AWP Wormgod and Swag 7 could easily support it, but as great as normal maps are, perhaps they don't need it. Maybe it wouldn't suit their art style as much as it does Gaunt's, with its heavy, metallic finishes. In other news, before this update, if a drone self-destructed and landed on a player, they'd get stuck in place until it broke, by which time they had probably burnt alive. This has been fixed in today's update. Thanks to Fatally Insane for being one of the people to provide a video example on the day the update came out. Also, in my last video when I asked if you knew which voting exploits had been fixed, it turns out a lot of you knew. If a vote was started to kick a cheater, they could immediately change it to a vote map, making it impossible to kick them. Other comments suggested that you could kick yourself by typing in a console command, and others of you said that it let you customise what the vote kick said, and some of you said that it was how one team would start a vote to stop the other team from starting their own, meaning that they couldn't pause the game if one of their players temporarily disconnected. So hopefully it was one or more of these things that was fixed. And the last update changes released today were these. The first is something to do with what information you can see about your friends and what they're playing if they're online. And the second is for the new Events tab and how it loads or displays the most favourited events for the month. If you like normal maps, who doesn't, check out this other video of mine on them from when they first came out for CSGO, and one on Prisu's 3D skin collection, and this video showcasing the cutting edge features in the Source engine.